Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending upon where you live around the world. Well, we've had some technical difficulties, and I'd recorded half an hour of video in three separate videos before I realised that my Windows update had corrupted my recording device. Oh, how sad. Me and technology don't get along well, and now I have to try and remember what I had said in the previous videos. After all, though, they are that important, aren't they? Okay, humour aside, I moved along a little bit with the development of the hub, and I should have realised sooner a point that I'd come across before in some of my endeavours, and that's sometimes when you use a proxy, and this hub was a proxy for what I wanted to use in the real world. It's a proxy in that it was not taken from a product that's obtainable from my local steel supplier. So I just made it a 100mm diameter tube with a 5mm wall thickness, and I proceeded to draw a lot of the versions, iterations within Sketchup. Then I thought, oh, hang on, when I come to build this dome, which I want to do, I actually want to make several sizes of it. A mini dome, that's another project, but there's a mini dome that joins side by side to create a covered area. But that aside, I thought, oh, hang on. When I go to my steel merchants and I ask for the 100mm outside diameter tube, they'll look at me and go away, sonny boy, we don't have that. So I thought, oh, I better have a look at what is available. And our company's called Steel and Tube, the local one, or one of the companies that I use. So I've got their catalogue. So I had a quick look at it, and I'll just draw it in there. And what do I look at here? Oh, the 100mm tube is actually 114.3mm in outside diameter, and I don't want the light walled one, I want the heavier walled one. So it's classed as a standard weight, or a schedule 40 tube, and it has, for want of any other measurement, a 6mm wall thickness. Oh, I thought, that's going to be interesting. So I've got rid of that, and I actually created this tube, this light green tube. Now, and here's the lesson, or the point I'm going to make. In a previous video, I made the distinction between the words precision or precise and accurate. They're not the same. Now, Sketchup will draw an accurate rendition of your hub, but it won't. But you will not be able to measure it accurately. It'll look precise, but it won't be accurate. Here we go again. You're down a rabbit hole when you're doing this, but it's important to know, because if you assume the two are the same, it's going to come up one day and kick you in the butt. Knowing that my measurement is, now what was it again? 114.3mm in diameter. Okay, we know that Sketchup will not and cannot measure to that degree of accuracy. So sometimes we go, oh, well, in that case I might as well just draw it to the closest millimetre, which SketchUp will do. But even then, there's difficult. I'll step back a bit. This is important when SketchUp is not an engineering designed piece of software. I don't recall why it was originally designed, but something to do with the mapping of locations around the different communities, different countries. And then it had the capacity for being an architectural piece of software. It is not an engineering piece of software. I don't want to learn the engineering piece of software technology or I just don't want to do that. SketchUp is a brilliant product, and I'm very happy with what it's been able to aid me in my endeavours. That said, P.S. I'm not paid by them. I don't have anything other than SketchUp Make 2017. I will eventually get the full version, but not at the moment. Okay, carrying on. I want to draw a circle, and it wants to be accurate. So I make just a moment. I want to be as clear as possible, so I bring up the calculator and I have 114.3 millimeters for the diameter. Of course, we've got to divide that by 2 to get the radius, so we have to have a radius of 57.15. Simple enough. Draw a circle. 57.15. But wait, David. SketchUp's not. It can't measure something like that. That's the difference. SketchUp can draw something that accurate, but it can't measure it. And that's why I'm saying you need to be aware of the benefits of SketchUp, but the limitations of it. And the limitations are very, very few for most people's purposes, but its drawing capability is pretty darn good. So I've drawn this ring, and what I'm going to do straight away is to increase its segment number to 100. And what that's going to do, of course, is to make the ring smoother, because the segments used to create the circumference, the shape, increase in number and diminish in length. So now it looks particularly smooth and round, but when we zoom in, we can still find you can see the small segments. But for most purposes, 100 segments on the size of this is pretty darn good. I'm going to save that as a group, and I'm going to come back in. Now, what was the wall thickness? It was 6.02 millimeters. We're going to call it 6 millimeters. So now we come into this, and we have the offset tool, and we'll draw it 6 millimeter. I'll delete the center part of it, and I'm going to extend this for the moment 100 millimeters, just for the sheer heck of it. If we go to measure this, now we know we typed in the 57.15. Okay, with me still? If I bring up the info for it, what do we see here? The radius says it's 57 millimeters. But, interestingly, it's actually shown that it's about, in a previous video, the one that didn't record with the audio, and didn't even show this. So this to me is indicating that there is some, depending on how you do it, some fudge factor within the software. Is that possible? I doubt it. So it's more likely something I did. More than likely. But 57, as it shows up in the information tray, doesn't indicate its true diameter. We know it is 57.15. Is that important? Yes. Because if you try to replicate something and assume, or build something, and you assume the limitations only allow you to do X, well, of course you'll go down the X route. What SketchUp can draw, however, is an accurate model, and the surfaces that we'll be working off will be accurate. I find sometimes that if you do not appreciate that very subtle but important difference, you will blunder ahead making nice looking models that are looking precise but are inaccurate, and when you go to do something else later on, you get caught up. Does this help you at all in any way? Well, I certainly hope so, but I can understand that not knowing or not appreciating that there's such a difference, you'll shrug it off as unimportant. You will have become bored by my voice way earlier, but the problem being the information held was what's important. And you go, oh, can you make it a shorter video, David? You've got to understand the process. In my teaching capacity in the sports arena, some people have the same opinion. Can you give me the meat and potatoes of this information? And this cropped up just the other night, and I said, well, I can, but if you underappreciate the effort that's required to get to where I am currently, you will not understand the ramifications of getting it right, wrong, indifferent, not as good. You have to go through the process yourself, and this is what these videos were about. It was the journey that I'm taking that you can learn from and shorten your learning process. Mine has been quite extensive, to the point that I'm currently looking at this little configuration, not necessarily for what I want to do, but it is an option of what I could look at, and that's going to be the theme for the next video. So that was a heads up. Getting late at night on a Saturday, and I'm going to do one more video about this hub, and then I'll probably leave it at that. Okay. I am waffling, aren't I? Okay. See you later. Bye.